Hello, I'm User Friendly's assistant, and this video I just am talking about this effect rack. I just posted this on my Patreon yesterday, and I had a couple questions asking if I could do kind of like a quick explanation on it. So I have multiple versions of this Max for Live device. The other one is MIDI, so also really the only difference is these particular a few particular buttons, like all of these two presses, they'll actually output MIDI notes, so that way you can sort of play different instruments and things like that. This is an audio effect, so that means you can put it on an audio track, not just a MIDI track. That way you can have a loop like this playing and kind of put different effects and things like that on it. So you heard this other beat. If you look right here, you can see when I press this mute button here, it's turning that track on and off. That's because all of these different effects, they end up basically masking the loop to the point where you can't really hear the rhythm, but it still sounds cool. So it's almost like this is your main glitch sort of instrument, and this just sort of helps keep the beat in line. So you can see when I press down, this has two triggers. There's one when you do a light touch, you can see that little ball right there floating around. And then if you do a full press, there's another trigger gate. On this group here, I have the like main loop thing here with all the effects on it. And this is just the simple beat to sort of tie everything together. They're grouped together. I have another Gamepad device here. All that's doing is controlling this master beat repeat. So that way, you know, once it's playing, I can grab both of them and give me something to do to kind of like transition between turning this beat on and off. See how that just kind of like turned off? It's sort of abrupt. This way, so while it's being grabbed by the beat repeat, that's when I'm turning it off or maybe turning it on or whatever. You can see when I'm turning the control like that, you can sort of hear there's a low pass and high pass down here at the end. So when I turn the control this way, it's a high pass. When I turn the control this way, it's a low pass. So you can sort of get like as far as the effects that are in here, it's kind of just a lot. I don't really even remember what I did, but for the most part, all that's happening is I'm just turning them on and off. Like as far as the joysticks and stuff, looks like shifter, Spectral time has something. The delay, that works. So when I hold this first trigger, that's going to turn the delay on. And then if I hit this bumper, that's going to turn the feedback up. And then this joystick will control. So you kind of have multiple things you can do with it. You can just turn it on momentarily, turn it on, and then turn the feedback up. This here, I wanted to use the, so it's a reverb going into a cabinet. The compressor is just sort of turning everything up. So which button is it? This one. If you turn the cabinet on, it sort of brings the volume down. So that's why this compressor also turns on. I'm basically just turning it up with the compressor. It's not really necessary, but with the reverb coming before it, the compressor sort of... So yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, you can download the rack, this thing on Patreon, this thing on Patreon. There's a MIDI version as well, but yeah, it's really fun to play with. And the audio version is, I'm kind of finding I like it maybe a little bit more than the MIDI, just because you can sort of set up all these interesting controls and then, you know, drop another sample in and, you know, be something completely different. Put some glitch stuff in here. What do we have? This is that bird post that I did. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching.